After 45 years at Specialist Heat Exchangers, Nigel Stevenson has seen it all. Today I'm sitting down with him to hear his experiences, his story and lessons learned while working at the company before his recent retirement. Let's get into it. Hi, I'm Jack from Specialist Heat Exchangers and today we're sat with Nigel Stevenson, who's retiring soon, and we're going to ask him a few questions and reminisce on his career.
Hello.
What are you most proud of your time here?
I was asked if I would open the projects department.
Yeah.
Initially just myself, then over the years it progressed to me being responsible for the drawing office. I think also that the company has kept going and thriving, and it's had several iterations, different owners, different MDs, and each time we seem to have come out the back of it and started with the new people and progressed well.
How has your role in the company changed since you started?
Well, yeah, as I say, it started as a draftsman, so ending up as a salesman. There's a blur in between that was projects. I really enjoyed the projects because that was developing the systems and stuff for the business at the time. But sales has been interesting, mainly working on high pressure products, what we call 97 group.
What challenges did you face and how did you overcome them?
I suppose the main one is I'm from Gainsborough.
Right.
I'm from out of town, you know. I used to get plenty of stick about, you know, getting across the border and had I got the right visa and all that. that was, to be honest, the environment I came into was a family environment.
Yeah.
And if you got a bit of a sense of humour, you could take it as well as give it, in the sense of a bit of sarcasm and a bit of a joke. It was an easy environment to come into. So
Nigel, what advice would you give someone who's just starting in a role at this company?
Always listen to the people with experience, and always do your best. If you're not actually trying to do your best, well, I don't know, it's just the way I am. I think you've got to always be trying to do your best.
What key lessons have you learned during your career?
Things do go wrong. Best will in the world, you can try and do everything, but I think the person that doesn't make a mistake probably doesn't do a lot. And I think not to get too carried away when something goes right. Don't go shouting from the rooftops how brilliant you are or how brilliant it is. And equally, when it goes wrong, don't let it grind you down, you know.
What skills do you think are most important for success here?
Good communication and clear communication as well.
Yeah. What has made this workplace special for you?
I'd better say I met my wife here. When I came here, it was a family-owned business. One man owned the multi-shares of it, if you like, and there was a couple of other directors. Don Wiles, you know, formed the company, and he was a gent in the way he acted with people and in society, I suppose you'd say. But he was normal, if you can say it like that. You know, he came into the office and asked how you was, what you'd been up to at the weekend, and that was, you know, an owner that had rocked up in his Porsche outside.
Yeah. We'll be back to the interview shortly. At SHE, every retirement is marked with a special tradition, a thin tube statue. The team's been hard at work creating one for Nigel. Let's see how it all came together.
So I've got to get a hole drilled in that. I've got to get the top radius. The head's going to be about there. In relation to the goal.
So who's had the biggest impact on your career?
Biggest, I don't know. I would have to say Ron Hodgson.
Yeah.
Because he came as a salesman 2 or 3 years into my life as projects, and we ended up in a situation where there was only Ron as a salesman and me as a project. So we were a double act in some sense. If Ron got a new order and we had a kick-off meeting in Sweden, I went with him. You know, and that sort of thing. So, yeah, he was a big influence during the time as projects, and obviously he was an influence to get me to come across to sales. But equally, you know, the Don Wiles, as I mentioned earlier, as an owner of a company, the way he presented himself and was with his workforce. A guy called Mike Goodchild, who a lot of people would be surprised to say had influence, because he had a way of his own, but he taught me a lot about how things could or should be done, and I would argue probably Mark as well, some of the commercial aspects of what we now do. And so it's hard to say one person. Obviously Ron would be the main person, but there have been so many other people that we go back to, the listening and learning off the experience.
What will you miss the most about working here?
The drive home.
The drive home, really?
Yeah. Well, the drive here and the drive home, albeit 20 minutes to half an hour from Gainsborough. Some driving home is a good head clear.
What are you looking forward to most about retiring?
I've got a young grandson to watch grow up, and he lives in Coventry, so I'll be booting across to Coventry a few days, I would think.
Well, it'll be a good drive there too.
That'll be my good drive, I'm not quite sure whether it'll be as relaxing coming back from Coventry, but I'll probably go out and watch a bit more cricket. Probably do a few more midweek games at football, because it doesn't matter what time I get in, that sort of thing. I did used to play bowls before, when I was a teenager, before I started over here. When going back to Gainsborough and playing of an evening was difficult. So I could take that up again. If they play it on a table this high, so I'd have to bend down.
So is there something you've always wanted to do but you didn't have the time for?
The one thing I've wanted to do is London to somewhere in Scotland on the night sleeper. I just don't know why. I love trains, but I just thought, well, that'll be a nice thing to do. So whether I get an opportunity to do that in the next few years, I don't know.
So how would you like to be remembered in the company?
Quiet. Reserved. I'd like to be remembered like that, but I know I won't. Honest, hard-working, SHE at heart.
Great sense of humour.
Sense of humour, I'd like to think that if anybody asks for help and I can help, I have done.
So any final messages for the team?
Keep smiling. Keep selling. Keep making. And focus on the quality and on time, I think.
From reflecting on his journey to celebrating his impact, it's clear Nigel's made a lasting mark. Now let's move on to his retirement send-off and give him the farewell he truly deserves.
The right thing to do is get started with just a massive round of applause for the 40 years. This is what you get if you've done 40 years.
Piece of tissue.
There we go. Here's your boy man.
Brilliant.